Welcome to Financial Aid 101, where we show you how you can get money for college. In this video, we will do an overview of what the FAFSA is and what it requires. Hi, I'm Dr. Witherspoon, and I'm going to talk to you today about the FAFSA. You ready for this? Lights, camera, FAFSA. So what is the FAFSA? Well, the FAFSA is a free application for federal student aid. FAFSA, FAFSA. It's a free application that you fill out to see if you're eligible for any of the financial aid. So if you log on to any sites and it's telling you that you have to pay money, that's not the correct FAFSA. This is filled out every year, again, to see if you're eligible for any financial aid. This is the website that you'll go to complete your FAFSA, fafsa.ed.gov. You'll either start a new FAFSA or you'll renew a FAFSA. If you've already completed a FAFSA, it'll be a FAFSA renewal. If this is your first time completing your FAFSA, you will click the button that says Start a New FAFSA. And just to give you a quick overview on the FAFSA, again, it's completed every year to receive the federal student aid. Let's get that money, right? You will need an FSA ID, the student and the parent. So if you are a dependent, meaning that your parents financially take care of you, you will need your own FSA ID and your parents will need their own FSA ID. What that does is it serves as your electronic signature to sign the FAFSA. Now, we are encouraging you to file your FAFSA as soon as possible. The FAFSA does open up by October 1st of every year, so it's encouraged for you to do it right away because there's a lot of money that's awarded to students on a first come, first served basis, and we want to make sure that you are first in line to receive those funds. So the earlier, the better. Again, FSA ID serves as your electronic signature to sign the FAFSA. Now, again, what's needed for the FAFSA? That FSA ID. This is what it looks like. You'll need your username and your password, and it is required. We'll get a little bit into that on another video to show you exactly how you sign up for your FSA ID, but it will require for you to create a special, unique username and password. Now, let's talk about what do you need when you fill out your FAFSA. For this specific FAFSA, the 2021 FAFSA, you will need your tax information from the previous year. So for example, if you are going to apply for the 21-22 FAFSA year, you will need the previous year's taxes. So you'll need your 2019 taxes. Again, you will need your 2019 income information. So again, just to reiterate, it's going to be from the tax year from the earlier year. So make sure you have the tax information handy so that way you can put that income information onto your FAFSA. Well, you may be wondering, what are the eligibility requirements? Well, in order for you to be eligible for the FAFSA, you have to have at least a high school diploma or equivalent like a GED. You must have a social security number with limited exceptions. Now, this is for you as the student, a social security number. Some of your parents may not have a social security number and there's a workaround for that. But for you who's applying for financial aid, you will need a social security number. Also be a U.S. citizen or an eligible non-citizen. And if you are a male, you have to be registered with the Selective Services. If you have more questions on being registered with the Selective Services, we will be able to give that information to you. But typically, you register when you're around 18 years old when it's time for you to register to vote. But that is a requirement in order to be eligible for financial aid. You also need to be enrolled or accepted for enrollment in a program. So if you're going to get your associate's degree or a bachelor's degree, or a master's degree or a certificate program, that's something that you need to be working towards. And then you have to make sure that you're maintaining a satisfactory academic progress, meaning that you're not failing those classes, you're actually successfully passing your classes that you're attempting. Now let's jump into the FAFSA dependency status. Are you independent or are you dependent? Now, what they look at on the FAFSA to be considered an independent is meaning that it's going to go strictly off of your income. You have to be 24 years old or older, married, pursuing a master's or a doctorate's degree, if you have children that you provide more than half of the support for, if you were in foster care since the age of 13, an emancipated minor, currently or was in a legal guardianship, if you're homeless or self-supporting yourself or at risk for being homeless, or if you were a veteran and served our country. These are the requirements that'll let you know if you are considered an independent student, meaning that you don't have to provide your parents' information. Some of you may think, well, I live on my own and my parents don't take care of anything and I pay my own bills. Well, according to the federal guidelines, if you don't fall into any of these categories, you are still considered a dependent student and will have to provide your parents' information on the FAFSA. Again, there are special circumstances that the FAFSA will look at. Some examples of these special circumstances are if your parents are incarcerated, if they're locked up, if you left home due to an abusive family environment, if you're unsure of your parents' whereabouts and you have absolutely no way to get in contact with them. And then again, these circumstances have to be well documented, and the financial aid office ultimately will have the final say with what they call a professional judgment. Be prepared. You want to make sure that you are prepared when it's time for you to do your FAFSA. Now, how do you get prepared to do the FAFSA? Well, what you have to do is make sure you gather all of the information that you need. You will need to make sure that you have your social security card handy or your social security number handy. Make sure you have those federal tax documents. So if you filed your taxes or if your parents filed their taxes, you want to make sure you have that tax information handy, specifically the 1040 form or their tax return transcripts. Have that information there. Also, if you have the accounts, how much you have in your accounts, any assets, things like that. But the main things, again, your social security card or social security number for you and your parents if you're a dependent, and your tax information for both you and your parents if you are a dependent student. If you're independent, it's just your information. Dun, 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 dun. Now we're going to talk about the IRS data retrieval tool. This is a part on your FAFSA where you're able to take all the information from the IRS website where you filed your taxes or your parents filed their taxes and transfer that information over to the FAFSA. Now, this tool is really cool because it saves you time. Listen, it saves time. This button, that blue button that you see that says link to IRS, when you get to this part of the FAFSA, you click that button and it's going to take you to the IRS website, and however you filed your taxes or your parents filed their taxes, it'll take all their tax information and transfer it all over to the FAFSA for you. So that way you're not manually typing everything in. So that's what this IRS data retrieval tool does. And it is very easy. It's not required, but it's highly recommended because, again, it saves you time and it's the most accurate information. Now, you may be wondering, okay, I got this FAFSA, I'm doing this FAFSA, now what? What's the process? What the process is that you, the student, you complete the FAFSA and you sign it with your FSA ID. Along with your parents, they sign the FSA ID. Then the FAFSA is then processed by the FSA. The student, you receive an SAR. What that means is that's a student aid review. That's going to be all the information that shows what you're eligible for, right? The college is then going to receive that information as listed on the FAFSA. So in the part of the FAFSA, you put in there what school you want this information to go to. The FAFSA, that information is sent over to the college, and they're going to determine how much money you're eligible to get, right? When the college receives that information, they're going to review it and they're going to put an award letter together for you, an award package. So if you get the full Pell and the full Pell is $6,345 for the year, they're going to say, okay, based on the results from the FAFSA, the student can get $6,345 in this. If they wanted to use the loans, they're going to get this amount, and any other grants that are available or any other scholarships that are available will be included in this package. So again, you fill out the FAFSA. When you're filling out the FAFSA, you are applying for grants. That's the free money you don't have to pay back. You are also applying to loans, which are optional, and work study. If you want to earn extra money by working on college campus, those are the three things: loans, grants, and work study. Some colleges have their own internal scholarships that they will award based off of the results of the FAFSA as well. So that, again, once the school and the college gets that information, they'll create an award package based off of what you're eligible for, and then they will send that to you, the student. So after you complete this FAFSA, you submit it, you sign it, again, you're gonna make sure you check your email. Check your email for that STAR, student aid report, right? That's just your confirmation that you completed and what you may be eligible for. You're gonna update and make any correction to the FAFSA if necessary. Sometimes you're selected for verification, and what that means is that the school sees something that may be conflicting information and they just need for you to clarify it. That's all that means. It's randomly selected. Students are randomly selected, and you could be selected every year, but your job is just to clarify what's going on with that. You want to make sure that you're proactive. Be proactive, follow up with the schools for the award letter. If you don't hear nothing, you call them or you send them an email. And last but not least, you want to make sure that you're still looking for scholarships. If you're eligible for any financial aid, that's amazing, but you also want to get more money and more money and then more money on top of that. Still keep looking for scholarships. The more, the better. Now, this is just an example on the college cost and the financial need. When you're applying for colleges, if you're already in college, or if you're a senior, you're going into college, maybe this will help make a little bit more sense to you. You have the cost of attendance, right? What the cost of attendance is, they look at the tuition and fees. How much does it cost to go there? Your room and board. Are you staying in the dorms or are you staying at home with mom? Books and supplies. It costs money to get those books, right? Your equipment, transportation. Do you need a laptop? Do you have to catch the public transportation there? Miscellaneous and personal expenses that you might have if you have children and you have to pay for daycare. Things like that. So that's what's packaged in this cost of attendance, right? So you'll get that number. And then you look at the parent's contribution, what the parent is able to contribute to your education, as well as what you're able to contribute to your education. That's what gives you the expected family contribution. So some of you guys may have heard EFC, the expected family contribution. That number it comes up from when you do your FAFSA. All of that income information that you put on there from you and your parents, there's a formula that they have that shoots out this EFC. Based on how much you made, you should be able to contribute $1,000. Or sometimes you may not be able to contribute anything. So that's where the EFC comes from. They'll look at your income information and say, based on how many is in your family and how much you made or didn't make, your EFC would be 0. And then, so they take the cost of attendance plus what your EFC is, and then that gives the EFC, and then they subtract your financial need. So they take the cost of attendance, subtract your EFC, and that financial need is how much you need in financial aid. And voila. It's a lot of information, I know, but we're here to help you. You'll get it. Here's a sample of that award letter. So let's say your this shows somebody with a financial need of $16,000. So it shows maybe they got this award letter, they got $2,000 in scholarships. They got an institutional grant of $2,000. They got in their grants, that free money, $5,000. State grants, another $2,000. And they had to take out $2,000 worth of loans. That's a total of $13,000. Well, guess what? That means that there's an unneed met of $3,000. If they needed $16,000 and they only got in scholarships and grants $13,000, they still need $3,000. So that's what it means by an unmet need. Think about it. If for whatever reason you have any questions whatsoever, studentaid.gov is the place for you to go. There's all kind of information that you could think of that they can answer for you. How do I prepare for college? What types of aid can I get? And you should know that because I just told you, loans, grants, work study. Do I qualify for aid? How do I apply for the aid? And how do I manage my loans? Once I get the loans, if you have to, how do I manage them? What does that mean? When do I have to repay them back? What's the interest rate? All of this information will be found on this federal website, studentaid.gov. I'm telling you, it's like a financial aid Bible. So this is where you can get all of your information from, studentaid.gov. Now, we talked about a lot of things. I know it's a lot of information, but we are here to help you to answer those questions. You got this. You got this. And let's get this money. Let's get this free money because you are going to college or you're in college and there is money to be made. Thank you.